Excellence Online. Subscribe to our channel now for more educational videos and press the bell icon for more updates.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Adnan from Excellence Online platform. Today we are going to discuss about first year play, first year drama progress. In last we discussed one episode, one part. Today we are discussing second part. It was composed by St. John G. Irving. Here we have two main characters, chief characters, Mrs. Maiden, Professor Henry Corey. Mrs. Maiden, Professor Henry Corey, both are different personality. Both they have different approaches towards life, but fortunately or unfortunately, both are siblings. Mrs. Maiden, she is anti-war figure, and Professor Henry Corey, she is pro-war figure. And one is social, second is unsocial. One who loves humanity, second who doesn't love humanity, rather he loves wealth, greed and other. Number second part we are discussing, Professor Henry Corey, Mrs. Maiden. Professor Henry Corey, after 3 years, he meets his sisters, Mrs. Maiden, and he is not feeling any kind of sadness regarding the death of Mrs. Maiden's sons and husband, but rather he is discussing about his invention and bomb. He informs Mrs. Maiden about his invention. A particular bomb is there. He says that he didn't go to station because he was quite busy in his invention, and if you know the invention, that is revolutionary invention. And first he will sell to the government, British government, on high price, on binding offer. If the British government doesn't pay him well, so he can sell to any other government, even to German was and is enemy nation of England. According to his statements and his sentences, he is selfish scientist. He didn't invent a bomb for national service, for English service. Rather, he invented his bomb to sell and to take a binding offer, to take money, and then he can lead his life in a better way. This is all about. Number next, Henry Corey and Mrs. Maiden. Views for women. It was time both person they take tea, and a kind of peevishness, a minor issue. Professor Henry Corey, he gets angry and he admonishes his sisters, and he says women do first, women disturb. All ladies they do nothing except the time, waste their time and they disturb the man. He is bachelor person, he didn't get marriage, and he is not intend to get marriage. Why? Because he doesn't like females and female company. According to Professor Henry Corey, no women have ever been great artists or scientists. You will not see any woman who was greatest artist or scientist. It is wrong statement. You can see, we can observe, we have seen hundreds of women. They are scientists, they are artists, they are professional, they are doctors, engineers, right? This is not male or female. This is all about hard working. Some male they cannot work, some female they cannot work. Right? So his statement is wrong. He does not like females. His views on the females are bitter. According to him, females are not professional, they are not devoted, they do not complete their one work, then they start another work. Right? Number next. Mrs. Maiden and Professor Henry Corey. Mrs. Maiden informs, states about her grief, a particular Tom Eddy and Eddie. Mrs. Maiden, she informs Professor Henry Corey how Mr. Maiden died, and she informed Professor Henry Corey how Eddie was died. Eddie was 19 years old when he died in a war in which he learns very less. For 8 days and nights, he, along with his battalion, he and his companions and soldiers, all person, they were in a shallow trench. For 8 days and nights, they were waiting for the help, but no one came to help them. And finally, there was a blast, shell came and destroyed them. 5 of them utterly destroyed them. Even he was not in a decent dead body. His body parts are destroyed. All body parts destroyed. There are nothing to bury. It was quite difficult for Mrs. Merton to inform. Why? Because she had sensations, feelings as a mother, as a human, and while speaking, she stopped. It was difficult to speak. She became silent. Both persons became silent for the next 2 or 3 minutes. So, how Eddie and Tom died? Eddie died due to war, and Mr. Melton, Tom Melton, who could not bear the grief of his son, he died of heartbreaking. In MCQ's question, we have this: how did Eddie and Tom die? Tom Eddie died of heartbreaking, and Eddie, the son of Mrs. Melton and Mr. Melton, he died in the war when he was just 19 years old. Right? Number next. Professor Henry Corey. His main objective is only to discuss about his invention bomb. He informs characteristics of his bomb. According to Professor Henry Corey, the explosions of my bomb will devastate a wide track and immediately. It will destroy a huge area of the land. Secondly, it will release powerful spreading gases without color, smell, and everyone will die after inhaling it. After blasting, after explosion, it will release powerful spreading gases without color and without smell. Who will inhale it, he or she will die. Human and animals, all living creatures. My bomb could wipe out the population of a big city as big as Manchester. Single bomb can wipe out, can destroy the whole city, the big city, as big as Manchester. Clear this idea? This is important. Write down, we have one question, write down the characteristics, a main feature of a professor's bomb or inventions. We have all about professor bombs and invention characteristics. Professor Henry Corey, he states, he informs Mrs. Melton that right now in 1919 there is no logical distinction between civilians and a soldier. She complained, she criticizes the government and government official to kill a civilian. So he said that civilians and soldier, they do not have logical distinction. Bomb, missile, scientific weapons, they do not see who is civilian and who is soldier militants. That means there is no logical distinction. But if we see another point of view, this is his views, but really whether you are civilian or soldier, if you are using weapons, bombs, missile, fire defense, this is a right. If you are using bombs and missiles and other weapons to harm other person, this is negative use. Right? For misuse of any missile or scientific tools. Number next. Henry and Professor Corey, conflict starts. Professor Corey and Mrs. Melton are both brothers sisters. They are discussing on the bomb and the human sufferings due to the World War I. And Professor Henry Corey says, I am the only person who knows the formula of bomb that could destroy the people at once. Professor Corey, he informs the importance of Professor Henry Corey to Mrs. Melton. I am the only one person who knows the formula and who has the power basis of some formula combination of gases. So I can send some people, they can blast, they can use a bomb in a war or in civilian place. Hundreds and thousands persons can die basis of one formula, and I am the only person who knows this formula. Mrs. Melton, definitely Mrs. Melton, besides her sister, she's mother. She criticizes Professor Henry Corey that Tom was killed by a shell, by a bomb. That bomb, that shell was invented. Scientists like you. Means indirectly she criticizes people like you who cause destruction, who cause human suffering because you invent bomb, missiles, weapon, and these weapon, missiles are misused by government and high officials. She criticizes that Eddie was killed by a shell or bomb. It was invented by any professor like you. It was second part. Hopefully like this video. Then we have got third part. Thank you.